just cut off. All right, this is gonna have to do. Hey guys, it's Candace. I am back with another video. This video is very impromptu and just kind of off the cuff, but it's gonna be a long chit chat, life update, getting real with you guys, sharing some things that I haven't shared before, and overall just kind of explaining some things that might help make sense of some other things. If that makes sense. I plan not to hardly edit this video because I have filmed this video over the course of like 3 months, talking about a lot of things I'm going to talk about, and every time I sit down and edit I decide not to upload it, and so I'm trying this new thing where I'm gonna just put it out there. It is what it is. So where to start? First of all, I turned 32 last Thursday on July 26th, so today is August 3rd. I turned 22. I turned 32 on July 26th, and we celebrated and had an amazing time. Me and my friends and all of our significant others, we all went out and just had a really good time. Of course, I vlogged the entire thing, and the footage was just not even able to be used. It was just dark and you couldn't hear us, and it was awful, the footage. So I'm really disappointed because I wanted to have that vlog for you guys, and I just wanted to have those memories for myself. But we got some great pictures and we had a good time. I also got my septum pierced. So yeah, I just wanted to do something different, you know, for my birthday, and typically I do something kind of drastic with my hair, like a hair color change or something like that, but I'm really trying to leave my hair alone in terms of damaging it with bleach and things like that. So I decided to go for a piercing, and yeah, I got a septum piercing. So right now you can't see it like looking at me because I have in a curved barbell, which is typically for like eyebrow piercings, just because my septum, the way it's pierced, I have to buy very like tiny petite jewelry if I want it to look like how I want it to look, and it's hard to find it, so I've had to order it online, and it won't get here until tomorrow, so I'll show you guys tomorrow what it looks like. But yeah, so that was fun. I got my septum pierced. Kylan turned 23 months yesterday, so in exactly 1 month she will be 2 years old, which is crazy. We have some new things coming up. Next week starting, she will be taking tumbling classes on Tuesdays and going to like a kind of preschool type of thing on Thursdays, where she will also be doing dance. So I'm excited for that, particularly the learning environment that she'll be in. She'll get to interact with other kids. She'll get to take direction from other authority figures. She'll get to learn. I just imagine that she's going to be learning so much. She's at this stage where like her vocabulary and memory and learning and everything has just taken off completely, and it's just been so amazing. Like, it's been what's the word? It's been just really like nice to be a mom lately, to be honest. And I say that because I haven't always felt that way, and I noticed that it's something that a lot of moms feel but just don't talk about, or are too ashamed to talk about, or get judged if they talk about it. But if you like Google "I love my child but I hate being a mom," like so much comes up, because it's such a common feeling amongst a lot of moms, and I was definitely there. In particular, the first few months, it was really hard. Kylan had colic really bad. She's just one of those children that's really intense. So when she's happy, she's like intensely happy, but when she's not in the mood, it's really intense, and it can be hard, especially when you're a stay-at-home mom and it's just kind of 24/7 of dealing with it. It can be really hard. So I definitely struggle with postpartum. I may do like a separate video where I go more into details about my experience with that. But things kind of got better once she was able to walk and kind of get around and have more independence. And then when she turned like 18 months, 19 months, things just got bad again. So during these like past few months, I had really been struggling, and it got to the point where my anxiety started to get so bad because I would just have anxiety from the moment I woke up until it was time to put her down to bed, because I just knew it was going to be like chaos. Like all of a sudden she didn't want her diaper changed, she didn't like baths, she didn't want to eat, she didn't want to go to naps, she didn't want to go to naps, she didn't want to go down for naps, she didn't want to get in her car seat, she didn't want to go to bed at night. Like just everything was tantrums, screaming, hitting, kicking, clawing, biting, like just craziness. And I was just dealing with it constantly, and it just starts to really weigh on you and weigh on your mental health and your just mental capacity. And so my anxiety got really bad to the point where I was just having panic attacks. I didn't want to leave the house with her. The thought of having to go out in public with her and run errands would just give me panic attacks. And when it got so bad to the point where even hours after the triggered event or whatever, my heart was still racing so bad when I was going to sleep at night. I still was like short of breath and like full on just like panic attack symptoms still lasting for hours. And so I was like, okay, I gotta get help. Like obviously my background in, you know, being a therapist and going to school for mental health, and then also just I have a history of really struggling with things like depression and anxiety. So for me, it was a no-brainer, call a doctor. So I got in to see a psychiatrist back, I think it was the end of May. I saw a psychiatrist, and again, I thought I was going in to talk about my anxiety. But the more I talked about my history, the more she honed in on BPD. So she ended up diagnosing me with BPD, which is something I knew pretty much all my life that I had, but I was never properly diagnosed for it, which means I was never properly treated for it. I would say, just as an aside, the kind of, I won't say the good thing about my particular experience, but the thing about my experience is that I am particularly high functioning with my symptoms, and for many people, the older you get, typically into your 30s and 40s, the more a lot of the symptoms that were really debilitating for you in your young adulthood years really start to mellow out. And that has definitely been true for me. The way that I experience BPD today versus the way I experienced it as a child and as a teenager and as a 20-something is like night and day. It's nowhere near as bad, and you know, the struggles and the chaos and the trauma and the just craziness that I went through, thank God. But there are still, you know, some of those symptoms there. And anytime you're talking about a personality disorder, it's always going to be like a combination of different things going on. So you're gonna typically have anxiety, you're gonna typically have issues of depression. Some people also have bipolar, some people also have schizophrenia, some people also have OCD, and just things like that. So for me, I would say my biggest issues are you know, depression and anxiety. And a big part of my anxiety comes from wanting to do everything perfect. And in terms of being a mom, I always wanted to be a mom. Like, as long as I can remember, all I wanted to do was be a mom. And I think that even me pursuing a career in psychology was a big part of it, was so that I could study child development and human development and how to create the perfect human. And I would always say that. I would be like, my child is going to be like my little behavioral experiment of creating this perfectly well-adjusted human being. And it's funny how when you think about what you want to do and who you want to be, you don't take into consideration that there are other factors. And there are other factors. And when you're talking about a child, there's another human being. And just because you have an idea about how things are going to go doesn't mean that they're going to be on board for that. And I definitely underestimated the idea that children are born with their own innate temperaments and personality traits and just all of these things. And you may have an idea of how you want them to be, but that's just not how it necessarily is gonna go. And I struggle with that because that was a big part of where my postpartum depression came from, because I just wanted to do everything perfect. I didn't want her to be exposed to anything she shouldn't be exposed to. I didn't want her to eat, anything that wasn't organic and, homemade and, pesticide free and, all of those things. And anytime I was confronted with a situation where that wasn't an option because A, she just didn't like it and she didn't want to eat vegetables and fruit, or Chris didn't agree with it, or family members didn't agree with it and wanted her to eat other things, it would drive me insane. Like, I would just have so much anxiety, and then I would just have this struggle where I was torn between, am I just being way too controlling, or am I the one that just needs to, protect her from these things? And so, as you can imagine, even in a relationship where you have two different types of kind of, ways of parenting, you can imagine just the struggle and the amount of headbutting that goes on with that. So that first year it was tough as parents in general. And I feel like I took on a lot of mom guilt when I felt like things just weren't perfect. And I still struggle with that. And that's a big part of me for my anxiety in terms of, being a mom is, she doesn't know all of her ABCs right now. And she's, by the time she's 2, she needs to have all of her ABCs. I must not be doing enough. I'm insane about it. I remember she was barely crawling and I had already bought there's a video where I had already created this whole curriculum for her. And it's like, really? She can't even talk. Like, what are you doing? But that's just how crazy I made myself. And it was just really difficult. It was really difficult. And the harder, her challenges are, the more they affect me really significantly. And so that's kind of the biggest thing that I would say I struggle with today. So my psychiatrist recommended that I get into a specific type of therapy, and which is DBT, seeing a DBT therapist individually and doing the group classes, which is what I personally feel like I need more than the individual therapy. But I did start therapy, and I have been in therapy for a few weeks now. I absolutely love my therapist. She's amazing. And it's good to have. It's good for anybody to, go to therapy, especially if you're a parent or just have any kind of stressor, everyday stressors or anything like that. So I love my therapist. I love, I've learned so much that I thought I knew about myself that I didn't. And I love my psychiatrist. She's amazing. She has been prescribing me some medication. We're in the kind of trial and error phase. So a big part of just kind of how I've just been kind of here and there with YouTube and uploading and things, because the medication, it's hard to adjust to. Some of the medication just makes you so tired. It makes you just like a complete zombie and just not feeling like yourself. And so I just didn't have a lot of energy. I didn't have motivation to do anything. So I really just gotten off of a lot of the medication we were trying. And what we've done now is there's a genetic test that you can take that breaks down types of medications that you are most likely to respond well to, medications that you are not going to respond well to, and then just kind of medications in the middle. So next week when I go see her, we should have the results back for that, and I'm excited about that. But in the meantime, I am still taking an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication that I have been taking since I was 4 months postpartum, that my primary care physician at the time prescribed. And it helps. It helps a lot. I can definitely tell a difference when I'm not taking it versus when I am taking it. I just have a lot more patience, a lot less anxiety, a lot less like just kind of just falling into that like defeatist thinking and like negative thinking. It helps me to think different perspectives a lot easier instead of just getting like stuck in your own way of viewing things and not being able to see your way out of that. So that has been helping me tremendously. What else? Let's see. I feel like I don't know what else. I feel like I thought I had so much to talk about and I don't. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I just kind of wanted to explain that, and because it's, aside from being a mom, it's such a big part of my life, just self-growth and, you know, all of those things. And so it's hard to vlog and talk about things when you guys don't even know that I'm in therapy or taking medication or struggling with anxiety or having panic attacks or, you know, just any of these struggles. And so I just thought it would be easier to make a video, kind of explain that, and then when I am vlogging, you'll understand what I'm talking about a lot more. I don't know why my timer, it just turned like bright yellow, like it's trying to let me know. Oh, okay, it was letting me know that it was cutting me off. So I will go ahead and end this video here. Again, I apologize for my sketchy uploading and just MIA-ness that I do, but I'm trying to work on being a lot easier on myself, and I think that will help with videos and uploading and doing all of those things and just being able to be authentic and transparent. So if you guys made it to the end of this video, if you have any questions, please ask me any questions. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more from me and my family, and thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you next time.